Hey guys, welcome back to the block, and today I'm joined with Party Rock. How's it going, bro?
It's going. I'm good.
And we are checking out, actually reviewing today, the first two episodes, the premiere of Agatha All Along from Disney Plus. And so we're gonna do this review mullet style. We're gonna do it short, sweet in the front, give our ratings, and then we'll go into some theories and stuff like that and spoilers. That way, if you guys just kind of want to know if you should spend your time watching it, right off the bat, my answer is yes. Yes, it is worth watching so far. You?
Oh, absolutely.
All right.
I'd say
Yeah.
it's definitely worth watching.
All right. So we're gonna kind of just go in and talk about some things we liked about episode one, then episode two. We'll give our scores on it, and then we'll go into some spoiler territory, and I will let you guys know when that's happening, so you guys can click away and go watch it for yourselves if you want. So let's get into it. Episode one. What'd you think, man?
It was kind of like a slow burn thing, but I really liked it because it takes it back to the whole WandaVision part of being in that a different world and not her own. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I think they did
Yeah.
really good with it.
Yeah, I thought it was really creative and like you said, it was a bit of a slow burn, but there was so much undertone comedy within it that was just kind of making me giggle and roll my eyes to myself that it was worth it. It paid off because they didn't have to do half an episode that way, but they did.
Right. No, it was definitely
So
it was definitely good.
So,
Funny.
yeah, none of the characters seem like they're copies of each other. All the characters seem like they're unique and they're their own characters. And like I said, the scenario in itself, a lot of the creative choices they made with transformations and sets and stuff like that, it really set the tone for what this show is going to consist of. And I personally enjoyed it. I would give episode one a seven. I'd give it a 7 out of 10.
I was thinking an 8, but that's probably just because I've been anticipating Agatha for a while.
And like I said, it was a slow burn, and I'm trying to be objective about it. And but there was a few times where I was like, huh, where I was even lost, and I'm pretty caught up on it. But that I did get caught up, but there was a few things I was like, wait, what happened with that? So, but overall, yeah, it was very creative, very fun. Catherine Hahn, hilarious. So, and she can play whatever role you want to put her in. So she makes that clear in the first episode.
Yes, she did display some excellent acting in this first episode. I loved it.
Yes.
Loved it.
Yes. All right. And then so we're gonna move on to episode two. Um just kind of our overall thoughts. A lot of characters are introduced here, and they actually give them some screen time to actually get a feel for them. They don't just say, "Hey, you're coming with us. You're now a person." Like for the most part, we get a little bit about what these characters are about, and a lot of shows have problems doing that. But and I'm really glad they didn't do the whole shtick where, "Hey, we have to go find these people." So we go find one of them one episode, and then a whole nother episode is going to find the other
Oh
one, convincing
yes.
them to join. And it's like, no, we got the band all together. We gave them all their own personalities, got them squared away. We know why they're there. We know why they're doing it.
Hell, we
Everything,
know
so
why they're
forth, so on and
pigs.
so forth.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they wrap that up nice tight with a bow with a huge emphasis on Agatha's character in this because she flips switches and says some absolutely ridiculous shit that had me spit coffee out. Like taking a drink when a certain part happened, and I just like I can't like. So episode two, I'm gonna give a solid 8 out of 10.
I'll give it a 9. I don't think that people understand the actual value of what you were talking about earlier. We spent maybe what 30 minutes learning about all these characters, and it didn't feel like it was rushed, and it didn't feel like I needed more. And you're right. I
Exactly.
loved the fact that we got to where we were, did what we had to do, and then left. They didn't hover
Uh-huh.
around that for a whole two
Because
episodes.
I mean, we're not gonna get too far into spoilers, but they and whenever it was made clear that they were gonna have to go on this fetch quest for other witches, I was like, oh no, we're gonna have 5 episodes of them just finding different witches and convincing them to do the thing, and then by the last 2 episodes, we might go do the thing.
Yep.
But no, by the end of this episode, we're at the thing.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
so,
Yeah. We
like
are.
yeah, we're trucking right along. We're going. Uh, so yeah, a solid 8. I feel like there's a little bit to be um what is it? The as far as like action and choreography and stuff like that, I think is the only real part where it's lacking. But other than that, like I said, the characters, it's not taking itself too seriously. Agatha spends almost this entire episode making fun of fucking witches,
Mm.
like, like, like just the practice itself. Like, so it's not taking itself entirely too seriously, and then when it needs to, it does level out and take a serious tone. But boom, Agatha's right back there to drag it back. And so, yeah, I'm gonna give it a solid 8. I would like to see a little bit more from the action side and a little bit more of like a ooh spooky horror. We did get a little bit of that, but I'm not gonna spoil anything. But the couple action scenes we did get, I knew what it was a throwback to. One of them, it was a throwback from the TV show or from the movie The Craft. I know you haven't seen that, Drew, but it was a really popular '90s witch movie, and Bobby Boucher's girlfriend stars in it.
Okay.
Mhm. So yes, a little bit more could be done there, but when the dialogue is cringy, it feels like it's supposed to be cringy. They're poking fun
Right.
at it.
Yeah.
It's not like they're trying to be super serious, and it's like, why
Yeah.
did
It's
you say
not
that?
cringe comedy.
Like some of it's a little cringy, but it's meant to be.
Right.
So yeah, I'm gonna go a solid 8, and you're gonna go a 9
Yep. Yep.
for two. So that brings your average up to an 8, and mine to a 7.5. So I'll round up. We've got about an average of an 8.
Yeah. It's
So
it's definitely worth every bit of it so far.
so far, it could take a serious turn, guys. But as of right now, I do not understand what's going on. I've not seen anyone online have a positive thing to say about it, and I don't get it. Yes, there is a character that's gay, but God, like outside of it showing me that he was gay by his boyfriend calling, that was it. Like,
Yeah.
just seems like a goth boy. Like he's a little off, but it's not a character that makes being gay his entire personality, so it's not annoying to me. So,
If that's I haven't been reading up on the controversy of the show, but if that's
yeah,
it, then
I
yeah, that's kind of just it's odd because like you said, it literally it's oh that's my boyfriend, and then that's the last you hear of it.
and then, it insinuates that, Agatha might be, but I mean, witches are known for being rebels. I assume most of them are probably bisexual anyhow.
Right. Right.
Like, whatever they're into at that particular time, most of them are psychopaths. So,
You can't be in that field without being a little weird.
so yeah, overall, episode 1, we just got an average of about an 8 right now. If we just put our scores together for the premiere, I'm hoping it goes up. I see a lot of potential for it going up, and I'm gonna talk about some of that over in spoilers. But as of right now, I do recommend you guys go out and watch it. That being said, you got anything else you want to add to the spoiler free section?
Not necessarily.
All right. So that being said, spoiler alert. In three, two, gotta go. 1. All right. Welcome to the spoiler section. All right. So, what is the weird thing that we were talking about in episode 1? All right, we know her brain was left in TV land by the end of what WandaVision.
Right.
And essentially, we open up and she is a lady detective, no nonsense, kind of mannish acting, doesn't take anyone's crap, like parody of a detective character, and she plays it off hilariously.
I will say, I enjoyed that character. That was good, and it was one of those where it's just she did it really well.
Yeah, we just found a dead body by the creek.
Hearing her talk like that was a bit odd, but so what do we think? What do we think about that being Wanda Maximoff's body? Surely not, right?
Well, I do have a theory about that, and we'll get back to that later. But as I'm understanding, she wasn't even out by the creek. Like, remember when she tried to get in her car and it was just she was in her apartment the entire
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Like, it seems like people have been coming to her house and just playing these games with her. Like when the black guy meets her at the crime scene and he's standing on the other side of the caution tape. In my head, that's his
That's
flower
his
garden bush
fence.
that he meets
That's
her.
his
Yeah, that's
fence
his little.
there.
Yeah, yeah. She's just outside, just like being a detective, just kind of chilling. Everyone's just kind of walking around, like. And then she gets in her little setup with her box and her juice boxes for her feet, her pedals, and she just, I'm driving. Like,
I will say she did that really well too. It seemed like she was crazy, literally. But
so for me, she was never at the morgue. She was never out at the crick. She was never. I mean, she just literally was walking to her neighbors' houses and interacting with them, and they were
right,
just like playing along. What?
so you think that you think well, whenever she was in the office and he's like, "Go home," she's just like sitting. She's like sitting outside in the yard or something.
I think she's like in his living room, just sitting in his living room, like, go home,
Oh man, this I am home,
eat
chief.
my eat my ass, chief. What?
Yeah, I thought that was very
So yeah,
clever.
yeah. She's constantly doing that. I am home, chief. What?
But three
I want
years.
justice.
Oh man.
Oh, I like that. I like that this entire community actually sees her as a hero, and they know she's messed up in the head now, so they're just playing along
Right.
and they're bringing her groceries and all this other stuff because Wanda was the bad guy to them. Wanda's the one that held them there against their will.
It's like that one guy at the neighborhood who survived Vietnam, and so
Yeah,
now he
yeah.
just chases kids off of his lawn for fun, and they
And so
they
and
do
so
it
I
because they know.
imagine, yeah, this whole detective thing was only going on for like 2 weeks. I'm guessing she
Yeah.
just goes to different things like.
Yeah.
So,
Last month last month it was you were running a grocery store.
mhm. so so yeah, uh, so she runs into this other character that presents herself as an FBI agent played by Aubrey Plaza,
Hmm.
and they clearly, for some reason, hate each other. We don't really know what's going on there, but Agatha, from what I can tell, anytime she tries to think of, like, Aubrey Plaza will be like, "Do you even know why you hate me?" And she'll be like, "No." She doesn't have like any memories of before Wanda,
Right.
what Wanda did. Just whatever she happens to make up in her head that day. So it's kind of creative because she genuinely pulls off that confused look, like she's looking for that memory,
Right.
like she knows she should know it, and then she's like, "I got nothing."
That's what I'm saying. She
So,
did an excellent acting job in this in these first two
oh
episodes.
yeah, yeah, and then she's playing the detective. She's got her pants pulled up over her belly button, and like, and so someone breaks into her house. She goes upstairs, chases him down, is cussing him out the entire time, falling off of her roof. Like it's a pretty funny physical comedy. And then he do gets hit by a car, and this is when we find out Deborah Jo Rupp is coming back. That's
Mm-hmm.
Eric's mom from that '70s show. So Mrs. Hart is back,
Yeah.
and might I say she is delightful. She's absolutely delightful.
I really liked her in this. Yeah.
So long story short, do you have any theory about why Wanda can't receive any information about this boy?
You mean Agatha?
Or sorry, Agatha. Yeah,
Nope.
this boy she meets, he is a an apprentice witch. Like he's got abilities, but not really. He's kind of an amateur, but he knows all about Agatha.
Right.
So I either think there's some sort of spell going on where she can't, clearly can't. And this intrigues her. She's not worried about it at all. It actually is probably the main reason she's keeping him close by,
Right.
is because she's like curious about it. She's not even like worried about it. She's like, you're interesting. I'm
Yeah.
gonna keep.
Right. Yeah. It's the sheer fact of I didn't do that. Like
Yeah,
I wonder who did that.
yeah. So I'm thinking either, like I said, we talked briefly on this yesterday, but if it's Wiccan, that would be Wanda's son. But I feel like Wanda would have known if there was any version of her son in this particular universe. So that rules that out. But she did have a plaque on her wall for a reward that was for Nicholas Scratch, which was her son, and she had an empty bedroom. And there was also mention that at some point she did sacrifice a child, and she seemed to really guilty about that. The look
Oh,
on her face.
they are kind of teasing at that, huh? That
So
it needs a
if he was potentially reincarnated into another body, that could be her son, and that could be the lock of hair in the locket. Is my theory.
I mean, it makes sense. Yeah, for it to be Agatha's kid, anyway.
So,
I've definitely heard rumors about both, about it being Nicholas and about it being Wiccan. But
and
really, we
so,
don't know. You know.
yeah. And so initially she interrogates him. It's pretty funny. He kicks him out of a chair. She kicks him out of a chair and tries to play tough cop on him and all kinds of nonsense. It's pretty hilarious. Over the top acting. We won't go too far into that because not much is revealed. It's just played to be played. But Nicholas does invoke some chanting in Latin, which we learned later kind of broke the spell a little bit and cracked it so she could
Right.
get out of it later. So, anyhow, she goes to the morgue, which we learn later isn't the morgue. She's literally
In
standing
her
in her living
basement.
room.
No, yeah. Crazy, dude.
There's no one there. She blinks her eyes. There's a body there. She remembers the victim had scarlet hair and walks up to the toe tag. The other witch goes up behind her, and what was it she said? Something about there are two Jane Does
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
room. Wanda Maximoff's name comes up on the toe tag in red, which I did a little research, and the date on the toe tag is actually the the that last episode of WandaVision when she got a hold of the Darkhold.
Okay.
So there's like 9 different dates with no names on those toe tags. So I'm guessing that's how many people have had their hands on the Darkhold, is 9 total people. Because Agatha Harkness was the one we knew had it before her, and
Oh,
her
that's
name popped up.
true. Yeah, we Agatha did have it before
So
Wanda.
I'm imagining whoever this character Rio is had it before Agatha, and that might be where the
Right.
rivalry is coming from.
Could be. Could be.
But then we have a really cool montage of her ripping off all of the outfits of the roles that she's been playing over the
Right.
past 3 years.
Amazing
And
scene.
one time she looks up in the mirror and she's like wearing a headband and
Yeah, from like
but
doing 1980s aerobic workouts.
yeah, and the really cool cinematic choice. She like falls down and knocks the lamp back, and then her hand comes back up and she's in black and white, like the character herself, and the lights shining over her face. It made a really cool effect on her. And but anyhow, she finally gets down back to her base form, and she pretty much just wakes up naked in her living room,
Yep.
and she's back to her old bitchy self, which is my favorite Agatha, because she immediately burst out of her house, butt ass naked, runs right up to the neighbor. He's like, "Oh shit, you like?" He's like, "You damn,
You're,
you know you're naked, right? Like, you've been a good neighbor, but you got some boundary problems." And yeah, so she finds out from him that she's been under the spell, just playing different characters, stuck in this town for 3 years. So she's just been completely brainwashed for 3 years, and the townspeople regard her as the person that set her free. So they bring her groceries and they play along with whatever narrative she's going on along with in her head, and they just try to keep her happy.
mm-hmm.
So I think that's actually really sweet. I've been saying since WandaVision that Agatha was right, and Multiverse of Madness proved me right. Scarlet Witch doesn't need to have her powers. What?
Yeah, but still, yeah, I will say that the whole town just being like, yeah, she's crazy old Agatha, and we play
Yeah.
along. It's like, all right,
Yep. Yep. Good old town folk.
yep,
And so, uh, she starts noticing that all of her neighbors are people that played in this little
yeah,
fantasy,
played a
like
role in,
the
yeah,
sheriff, the jeweler. What she has a really fun line when she takes the locket to the jeweler. She's like, "Well, how much will you give me?" He asks her
yeah,
to flip on it. And she's like, for you, 200." And she's like, "Great, I know where to start the bidding on eBay."
yep,
So, but yeah, yeah. So all of them, they run back off into their houses, and dude like tries to take a jacket or something and put it over her shoulders because she's still standing out in the street, butt ass naked. And she's like, "Fuck that!" She just like knocks it off. She does not care at all. Like,
I believe she
and
like
then
threw a fit and throws it into the floor.
so so then she storms back off into her house, and you get to see a nice shot of Agatha butt. So good on you, Disney. You're getting a little bit more mature. Cheers.
Yeah, yeah, I was a little surprised, but
Yeah, I know. We got to see Hulk butt. We got to see Thor butt. We never got to see girl butt though.
yep,
Here we go. Got girl
Agatha is
butt.
the first girl butt.
So she gets back in there. She finally gets dressed. She realizes that the boy she had been seeing, the one that actually broke the spell on her, he's real. He's not part of her imagination. And then she comes to the realization that if that's true, then this other witch that's been walking around here is probably real too. And right about then, the door busts open and there's a little action fight scene. And that's where they reference that movie where she flies across the floor, kind of levitates towards her with a knife. Is a good callback if you've ever seen that movie. But yeah, a pretty decent fight scene. A lot of trash talk. But it wasn't like, I don't like Black Widow or like Daredevil or anything like that. It was a little bit like it was a lower tier level of action in my opinion.
Right.
But um but overall she decides to spare her, and she's going to go tell the Salem 7 where she is, because she wants to take her out while she's at full power, because with witches, and this is actually known throughout n- not not necessarily the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but in the Marvel universe, witches and people with a lot of power, they are really full of themselves, and pride is probably their biggest Achilles heel. So Agatha uses that to her advantage and ends up saving herself, because she would have eventually lost that fight.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. But
So she appeals to her ego, and so she to Rio, which I don't know this character from anywhere. This might be a new character, or it might be another character in disguise, and that kind of rounds out episode one. On episode two is basically it's a witch hunt. It's what it is. But this is where we get a whole bucket of comedy. We get some good stuff. So, um, anything specific that you wanted to bring up about this? Because I don't. We're not going to go by play, but there are certain things I do want to bring up.
In episode 2,
Yeah.
um, I think my favorite part about it was whenever they were getting the list of witches,
Oh yeah.
and you the dude teen for what I
Hmm.
know his name to be. There was one where uh, she was like in legal trouble, and he pulled out his phone. He's just like, you I don't remember what he said, but he was like, you're in a lot of trouble. And Wanda was ready to go, like, to leave and be like, well, I can't get her, whatever. And he was just like,
Hmm.
well, actually, and he just throws all this shit down. And I was like, okay, like,
Yeah, it's only about 5 years times 800.
yeah,
So.
yeah, right. I really like this character. I don't know if anyone's having issues with him, but I really like him.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
he made him and Wanda's crusade together made episode 2 phenomenal.
Agatha's.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So their little crusade together was the highlight of the episode for me.
Mhm. Okay. Yeah. I really, no, I really enjoyed. So the first chick was a fortune teller. I enjoyed when Agatha was walking in and completely changing her character and her voice to
Yes.
just put on this play. She's like, "Oh, he doesn't speak. He has the anxiety." Like,
Yeah. Oh heavens! And it's like, good
but
lord,
I need to know if you
where's
can help
that
me
gold
find
at?
a bag of gold that my ex-husband may or may not have hidden in our backyard.
Yeah. I will say their recruiting methods, I love them. Unorthodox, sure, but I love
Love it.
them.
Fortune teller is like making a bunch of noise, and Agatha is like over there, like rolling her eyes, like, "Oh, Mama."
Yes.
Like, "Oh, that's so right. We'll get out of your hair now. He always takes care of Mama." Like,
Yeah. Pay the lady.
but the part that made me spit my coffee out is when she walks into that second witch's place, and she's got customers up there, and she's like, "Girl, I need a jade egg for
Oh
my oldest store.
yeah.
Do you guys want to go halvesies on one?" What the
Yeah. No, she
those of you
does not
for
care.
those of you because I had to double check. I was pretty sure I knew, but no, the jade egg. If you don't know, women put them up in themselves to, you know, and they squeeze it, I guess, and it makes their vagina tighter. I don't
Huh.
have one, so I don't know, but that's what I read.
Well,
So,
there you go.
and so the zinger she puts off when she leaves that witch, she says she's not gonna go help her, and she's like, and then there's the whole lawsuit thing. She's like, "Well, I'm gonna take a jade egg to go, and if you want it back, you know
You
where to
know where to
find it." I'm
find it.
like, "Ooh,
Yeah.
that,
Yeah. Yeah.
oof, yeah, I'm. You can mail that to me, but I don't know if she wants it back.
Yeah.
But, I collect stuff.
Yeah. The interaction with all of them was amazing. Which I was,
Oh,
I did have a question about the roster. Do you
mhm.
think that Kitty from that '70s show, I forgot her name, it's Mrs. Hart. Do you think
Mrs. Hart.
Mrs. Hart is the one that was the last person on that list? Surely not, right?
No, I think it was this Rio character. I don't think Rio is her actual name because she's earlier. So she said the last thing on the list was a heart that was black heart.
Right.
So earlier there was some dialogue between her and Rio that said, "You're heartless," and she's like, "No, I have a heart and it beats for you." And so there was a lot of heart talk between these two. So maybe a relationship that went bad,
Okay.
or so I actually think that He does not have any powers whatsoever.
Who, Rio?
No, Mrs. Hart.
Oh no, yeah,
I
she's just a chick, dude. She's
like it would
just
be
a
very
chick,
surprising. It would be very surprising for her to be the ultimate, the big boss in the end. Just surprise.
right?
But I think actually Rio was in the house somewhere when they were summoning the
The road.
the road, and she was singing in the house somewhere
Okay.
because
I
I think
mean,
Rio was the third one.
okay. I mean that makes sense because surely, yeah, getting Mrs. Hart couldn't have been it. She is just an old lady, but
As far as we know, I would love to be surprised and she actually
right,
has powers. That would nothing would make me happier, but I don't think so.
right.
I hope they keep Eric's mom safe. I don't want her to die.
Okay, so
So
we believe it's Rio Vandal, Vital, whatever her name is.
yeah, and I think she might possibly the only witch I can think of, given her power set and kind of the clothing she wears, would be Morgan Le Fay. That's the only thing I could dig up.
Yeah.
And so I mean she's arguably probably older than Agatha. She's one of the very first practitioners of magic. So,
Okay. Yeah, I need to do
but
some
I could be
research
dead.
on her.
I could be dead wrong. I looked up the saying she keeps saying, and it she keeps saying TiVo every time she leaves, and
Oh
that
yeah.
translates I see you.
Okay.
So so maybe I translated it wrong, and it's like I'll see you,
Or
or
see you later.
yeah, something like that.
Well, I know. There's a lot of things like that with translating Spanish to English, where it's
And by the
like,
way, continue.
well, it'll actually say like, cat black, but it's like the black cat. I don't know. It's all weird.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And so, yeah. By the way, that Witch's Road song, that's a banger. Added it to my playlist. For
I don't know. I didn't really. I thought it was hilarious that they're over here burst into a musical and the Mrs. Hart's just like, should I have known this song?
Oh, what did you think of the Salem 7?
Oh, dude, I hope we get more of that.
Yeah,
That
creepy.
was yeah,
Surprisingly,
yeah,
yeah.
and then it was oh my god, it scooted down the stairs. No,
Yeah,
thank you.
so that one's name, if they're going based off of the Salem 7 from the comics, the leader there that came down the stairs would have been Vertigo.
Man, I thought they
And
looked
each
amazing.
And I don't know if you knew this, but the reason Agatha was freaking out about animals multiple times throughout the show is because each one of the Salem Seven has an animal avatar.
I did not know that. I was wondering.
One of them is a rat, one of them is a crow, and one of them is a coyote. So
Okay. Okay. I mean, it makes sense.
I believe there's a fox, and there's seven of them.
Right.
I think one's an owl, but so yeah, and they are the direct descendants of the seven witches that Agatha initially killed to gain all her power.
Oh, damn.
So yeah, they got beef with Agatha.
Yeah, this is personal.
And then we get to the Witches Road, and we take off our shoes and we start our journey. Do you have any theories, sir, for the future of what's going
Not.
on?
I don't have an inkling of an idea of where this is going to go.
I do not. I do not know about the journey. I have no theories about all the shenanigans that may transpire throughout the journey, but I have an idea about the ending. So at the end, because I've rewatched. Okay, so I've watched both of these episodes 3 times
Okay.
now, and while I was doing my research, I rewatched the last 3 episodes of WandaVision. So in the last episode of WandaVision, when she's about to steal Agatha's powers, Agatha, I wrote this down. Agatha says, "You don't want to do this. There's a time in the future that you're going to need me." And Wanda says, "Then I will know where to find you." And then she takes her powers and turns her into a TV brain. So I think Wanda is stuck at the end of the witch's road, and she has set all this up.
Huh. I would love to have Wanda in it. Don't get me wrong, but
Like that's just my end goal theory because as of right now, they've not hinted towards any of that. But also, everything she saw from Wanda's body and all of that shit was from Wanda's hex. So,
I mean, I do agree that I want Wanda to come in it so bad,
so
but
maybe Agatha was right and knew something like this was going to happen, and now Scarlet Witch is like, okay, she was right. I do need her help, so I'm gonna send her on this goose chase to come get me. What?
maybe actually, yeah, maybe.
That's
I
that's my that's my best theory for where this ends. I don't know because then I think maybe it rolls up into another TV show. I think Agatha is going to just be one season, and I hope Agatha remains a character and goes into another show and collabs with another character because I think she's very unique, and there's a lot of things they can do with a live Agatha because in the comics she is usually dead and a
right.
ghost. And I don't think I've ever seen an Agatha comic. So if they're out there, they're very rare because I've scoured through a lot of comics. Usually she's just a guest in someone else's comic. So,
Yeah, or a
so
mentor in a video game.
yeah. Well, the Midnight Suns arc that's canon.
Right.
Like one of the very few times she was semi a decent human thing. Are witches human? I guess they're initially human. They
Yeah.
start out as human.
Yeah.
So yeah. That was one of the very few times she was actually a decent human because she's not a good person. She literally outright admits to eating babies.
Right.
So
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. She was like, but they're so good.
they're so delicious.
Damn.
Like, and for all of you pet lovers out there, you know she killed Fluffy, right?
Yep.
So,
Yep.
so clearly not a good person. I just think she was right about Scarlet Witch, and in that scenario, taking if she had succeeded, she would have saved a lot of lives in multiple universes by doing so. That's all I'm saying. She was right in the WandaVision scenario. And in my opinion, in my eyes and the people of Westview's eyes, the hero.
Yeah.
So that's all I really got. I think Rio may be Morgan Le Fay. I think the teen might be most likely. My best guess is Nicholas Scratch,
That's
her
the
son,
yeah,
reincarnated.
I've seen more arguments lean towards Nicholas than I have what Havoc or not Havoc oh whatever
Wiccan,
his, yeah, Wiccan.
yeah, Billy, Wanda's kid.
Yeah.
So that is
Do
what I
we
got.
think I've got a question. Do we think that
Yeah.
character wise Agatha, cuz as at the end of episode 2, Agatha doesn't care about her coven. Like, let's be honest. She genuinely doesn't care about any of those people.
Oh yeah, that's the best line in the entire. Blast me, you bitches!
Yeah, right. Yeah, so she clearly doesn't care about them. Do you think there's going to be a sense of coven attachment by the end of it? Is she going to
Eventually, but as of right now, they are just tools. 100%.
right.
Like all she wants is to get her power back. Anyone on the team right now, she is more than willing to slit their throat right now if it means she would get there.
Yep. I
100%. I have
wonder if
no doubt about that.
I wonder if she's going to come around due to self-sacrifice or something else.
I hope not because I feel like this character could spice up a lot of other people's stories. Like, yeah, Wanda's cool, but as far as a sense of humor, she just that character that does not have it.
Right.
What?
I mean, Wanda Maximoff is pretty dense.
Like Vision gave it a little bit, but Agatha really gave it what it needs,
Right.
and she is a performer. Like I said, in this second episode, she plays five different fucking characters at different times.
Right.
Like it's crazy. Oh, I love when he's got like one of the my favorite scenes outside of the jade egg is when he's got the welcome coven sign up.
Right, and
He's
she
like,
goes and
what do
tears
you think?
it
She's like,
down.
maybe if I just like rips it.
Man, whenever he was like, there's a pin in my glove box. Can you grab that so I can write this down? She's like, oh, in here? Oh, and yeah, let me just get that for you.
Oh,
Just fucking
yeah, yeah.
throws
Tosses
it,
it out the
tosses
window.
it.
You want me to take the notepad
Yeah,
too?
he's like, maybe not. We probably shouldn't. I want to keep that.
Yeah, yeah. I think her comedy needs to be analyzed because I think she's always fucking hilarious. I saw her
Yeah.
in Bad Words. She was hilarious in Bad Words.
Oh, she was the chicken bad words.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
yeah.
dude. She's played in a whole lot of stuff, dude. Like,
No, that was a solid. That's solid.
so I loved her in Parks and Recreation. She only showed up maybe 10 times, but God, she was fantastic. And
Um, well, so
everything.
I've got nothing else, man. Honestly, as far as
All right,
Agatha All Along goes, I'm excited for this TV show, and I love it so far.
all right, awesome. And so, real quick, let us know what you thought about Agatha All Along. If you're gonna watch it, if you're not gonna watch it, if you're gonna be super dramatic about one of the characters being gay, whatever it is, I don't care. Leave your comments down below or don't. I don't care. Fuck off. Anyhow, I'm just gonna let you guys know at the end of this kind of what I got coming up for you guys. So I've got a Fall of the House of Usher review coming up. I'm gonna be working on that next weekend. Umbrella Academy final season review. I'm be working on that. I just finished Penguin episode 1, so I'm gonna do a review over that. And then I've got some stuff for Wednesday 2 and Arcane. There was a sneak peek, so I'm gonna do a react and my thoughts on that. So those are some things I got coming up for you guys. I'm working on a job transition right now, so if I'm a little bit behind on some of my videos, I know I was behind on the Mortal Kombat one. So just bear with me, guys, and I can get caught back up. But that's kind of what I got in the pipeline for you guys. So thank you guys very much for watching. Thank you for joining me, Party Rock.
Your
And
pleasure.
I will see
My
you
pleasure.
guys tomorrow. And Party Rock might join me sometime next week. So, oh yeah. And Thursday, after I get off work, I will be on here streaming Mortal Kombat Chaos Reigns. So stay tuned for that. Come by and hang out and chat with me. Probably gonna stream all night because I'm usually off Fridays, unless my job schedule changes. So, with that being said, have an excellent day, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye. Say bye.
But